Hello, welcome to Soul Explorations with Jo. This month we are going to talk about all things fire. That's the topic that I've been given for today's session. So that's what we're going to talk about. I was guided before sitting down and recording this to gather anything I could get my hands on to do with fire, with a fire theme. So I've spent the last hour sort of moving through my house and I've been letting Spirit guide me. So this is a nice little, reminder for you. The first tip for today's session is if you feel like you have a hunch about something, if you feel like you know, okay, well, I kind of have an idea of what I want or what I need, but I'm not too sure on the specifics or the details, try not to get too hung up on the exact specifics of what it is you're feeling into. Just continue to feel into it and Spirit will guide you. So as an example, this morning as I was gathering all my bits and pieces for this session today, I knew it was a fire theme. I knew I needed to find a few things on that theme of fire. But I couldn't, off the top of my head, I just couldn't quite think of what exactly do I have that has a photo of fire or something related to fire. I just couldn't quite land what I needed. So I let go of that and I just let Spirit guide me. And so when you're guided by Spirit, often these little messages from Spirit, they'll drop in like little... It's almost like an unexpected little brainwave that you'll have. And so that's what I was sort of working with this morning. I was moving through the house. I was just kind of wandering through the house. And then suddenly a little nugget would drop in and I go, yes, I have that. That would be really helpful. So I would go and get my deck of cards, for example, that suddenly popped into my head. And I flicked through them until I found the card, and I've got it here. We're going to talk about it a bit more later. And I knew there was more, so I did the same thing. I kind of just slowly sort of wandered through the house, feeling into it, and then suddenly, bang, the next little nugget would drop in, and it was my book, Equilibrium. And I remembered that there was some guidance from Spirit in the back of that book on fire. All of these little things, they might seem like brainwaves to you at the time, but often those little brainwaves are they're Spirit messages. So the more we can get out of the way and just let these things come to us, the easier it will be. You know, I'm an overthinker. In fact, I'm very well known in my family and my circle of friends for being an overthinker. I procrastinate and I overthink things. And so I often make things so much harder for myself than they actually need to be, because I'll be sitting there going, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I'm trying to think about something I've forgotten, or I'm trying to think of, the specifics of something that I know is right there on the edge of my consciousness, but I can't quite land it. And so I'll really get into that headspace and think about it a lot. And I end up getting myself all muddled up and I can never ever work it out. It's never until I actually let that go and just sit and just let those thoughts or those Spirit messages come to me is when the real magic happens. And so that's what I did to prepare for today's session. Was I sort of just breathed and I knew it was a fire theme, so I just breathed and relaxed and moved through the house, and these little things just came to me. So that's a beautiful little reminder for you all to trust those little brainwaves, those light bulb moments that you get. Trust them 100%, because most often they are spiritual guidance or little messages or prompts from Spirit. Okay, so let's get into today's session. Fire. We are being guided to focus on anything and everything to do with fire. So the energy of fire, the visual of fire, the thought of fire, the temperature, the heat and the intensity of the fire. this fire theme is going to be really helpful for you in the coming weeks. So for this month, we're in October 2020 now. Fire is going to serve you really, really well this month. It's going to help to extinguish any energies that you no longer need. It's going to burn them up, and then you're going to be able to extinguish them and cleanse them and get rid of them. The energy of the fire is going to help to stir something inside you that maybe has been a bit dormant or stagnant for a long time, or even just a short while. So that is what we're going to talk about today. As you can see, I've lit a candle here and I've got it sitting just in front of me. This, I just want to let you sit and check out the candle for a minute or two. So I was guided to light this candle and have it sitting sort of front and center of this session. The energy of the fire is really going to conjure up exactly what we need for this session. So even if what we talk about today, you feel like, oh, I don't really have many takeaways from that, just know that the energy from this candle, from this fire burning here front and center, is going to give you exactly what you need on an energetic and a spiritual level. So I'm going to leave that little beauty there for us all to enjoy. So throughout the session, if you find your attention is being drawn to this flame here, trust that and work with it. So if you feel like you've tuned away from me, so if you feel like my voice and what I'm talking about and what I'm doing is sort of becoming background noise or background sort of activity, and all you want to do is just sit and gaze at that flame, then trust that and do that, because there's something really special in the flame and in the fire for you. I've also, as I said, I was moving through the house and I was guided to find this little oracle card, Spirit of Fire. So I've made sure that I've surrounded myself with lots of fire energy through imagery, through actual fire. And as I was starting, I was burning a little bit of smudge mix that I've got here, some beautiful dried herbs, and I was just smudging those. Again, there was some tiny little embers in it, and that was enough just to take that fire energy to another level for us today. So let's start off by talking about the Spirit of Fire. I'll just move this in a bit closer for you so you can see it. It's a beautiful bonfire on the water there, on the edge of the water, on the shore. And even the colours in the sun and in the sky really capture that essence of fire. So I was guided to pull this card, one, to have the energy of the Spirit of the Fire with us, but two, so that I can do a little reading for you all today. So I'm going to feel into this card and see what the Spirit of Fire has for us today, what message the Spirit of Fire has for us today. So the Spirit of Fire is urging you today to keep moving forward. I'm getting this real sense of sitting still, doesn't feel very comfortable. Reflecting and going back into the past, again, it doesn't feel very comfortable. And when I feel the energy and my thoughts and my intentions moving forward, there's this progression towards the future dreams, future goals, future endeavours. And it could be months or years away, this goal or endeavour that you have, or it could be later today. It doesn't really matter how far ahead you are, but the Spirit of the Fire is encouraging you to move forward, to look forward. Often it's really helpful. And, you know, a lot of the time we're recommended to be in the moment, to be present and to be sitting in the moment and to really appreciate this exact moment that we're in. And the spirit of fire is saying, just let that go just for a little bit. Cast your energy and your thoughts and your attention to the future. And as I said, even if it's just a fraction into the future, as in, after lunch today or, this evening, try not to sit in the present because it feels a little bit stagnant right now. And the spirit of fire is saying, once you can extend your energy and your thoughts and your attention into the future and into that forward momentum, it's going to help you to be more present. So it's like a double-edged sword. So you're going to be not only setting some intentions and looking forward to what's coming and what sort of things are exciting you, what sort of things are you looking forward to, and even what sort of things are you dreading? Is there something in your future that you're really dreading? Don't be afraid to look towards that just for a little while, and because that is essentially going to help you to reset the present, reset the now. Excuse me. I get really croaky when I channel, so I'm going to clear my throat a bit. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Through looking forward and casting your awareness forward, that is going to reset your present, and it's going to help you to, when you do come back to being in the now, you're going to be more present. You're going to be more immersed into what is actually happening now, because you've given yourself the chance to step out of that just for a bit and then come back into it. I hope that makes sense for you. Sometimes these messages come through. Sometimes they come through so fast that I get a little bit stuttery and the messages get a bit muddled. So I hope I've articulated that well enough for you to take something from the message from the Spirit of Fire today. So the other thing I was guided to today, and I forgot I even had it. So I've got so many crystals and gemstones in my home, little ones, big-ish ones. I just love them. But I'm not a huge crystal, what's the word? Like I'm a long, long way away from being well-versed with crystals, so I often forget their names. I collect crystals based on how they make me feel rather than what their name is, or, me looking up the purpose of a crystal in a book and saying, oh, yes, well, that's what I need. That's not really how I work with crystals. If I see one, if I'm in a shop, or if I'm walking, even a rock or a stone or something, if I'm walking along the beach, if I feel something from that, then I trust it and I get it. And so I have so many crystals and gemstones, and I have no idea what their actual name is. So one that came to me as I was setting up for this morning was fire agate. And I knew I had a piece of fire agate, and I just had to find it. And so I'm digging through all my little, my tiny little tumbled gemstones and my raw and rough bits and pieces until I found it. And as soon as I laid my hands on it, I knew I'd found it. And so this was another fire element I was guided to bring into the session for us today. It's only little, I don't know if you can see. Oops, I've dropped it. Hang on. It's kind of hard to see how little it is, but you can sort of see there based on how the size of my fingers, you can see how little it is. So it's not an overly big piece, but he needed to come in and work with us today as well. And I'm calling him a he. I'm referring to this crystal as male energy. And again, crystals, they have a masculine energy and they have a feminine energy. And I feel like most of them have both. And depending what you need at the time will be whatever energy comes forward for you, or the energy that you tune into at the time. And so I'm really feeling the masculine energy of this fire agate today. And he wants us to draw from him what we need. So we're going to do a little bit of a healing with him now. We're going to sit with him. And you can watch, you can sort of hood your eyelids a little bit, soften your gaze and just gaze at him, or you can close your eyes. So take a look at him and then you can close your eyes and then just feel into the energy. So I'm going to hold him here front and center, and then we're going to let the energy of this beauty gift us with what we need today. So I want you to take a nice big deep breath. And let the energy of the fire agate do what he needs for you. So what I'm sensing now, I'm going croaky again with this energy. Sorry, hang on. Oh my goodness, I've got so much energy moving through here. It's crazy. Good crazy. So what I'm sensing this little beauty is doing for you today, it's almost like he's singeing the edges of your energy. So if you imagine a piece of fabric and the edges of the fabric are really frayed and they're a little bit all over the place and there's bits sticking out everywhere. And so that's kind of how I'm seeing your energy, and what the fire agate is doing is he's singeing and sealing the edges of that frayed fabric, and it's creating this beautiful seal around you. It's bringing your energy back in. So those of you who are light workers or healers or helpers in any way, shape or form, you give a lot of your energy. So your energy is constantly going out to other people, other places. What the fire agate is doing is imagine all of that energy you're spreading out. Imagine that being the frayed edges of the fabric. And so we're bringing that energy back in, and he's singeing the edges and he's sealing it. So it's bringing all of your energy back into yourself. It's like a beautiful reset, an energetic reset. That's the best way I can think to describe what is happening with this healing with this little baby today. So we're just going to let him finish off, because he's being very thorough. You know, sometimes when we do healings, the healing will happen in an instant, in the blink of an eye. It's like bang, it's done, whatever it was that needed to do. Sometimes it takes a little longer. And so in this instance, the fire agate is being very thorough, very slow, very meticulous with the healing. So we're just going to give him a little bit more time to do what he needs to do. There's some shedding of energy as well. So I mentioned that extension of your energy is coming back into you to get rid of those frayed edges. There's some other little bits and pieces of the frayed edges that is actually being burnt off and released. Okay, that feels really good. All right. So let's send a little thank you out to the energy of the fire agate for providing us with some healing today. Okay, the other thing that sort of came to me, that was brought to my attention when I was setting up this morning, was to talk about one of the spirit messages in my book, Equilibrium. And Spirit said to me, there's a photo that you've got. It's a fire pit, and I could remember it as soon as Spirit sort of dropped that into my consciousness. I could recall the photo, so I went back through and found this photo and printed it off for us all to look at. So I want you to have a look at that image just for a moment, and then I'm going to read the passage from my book. Okay. So this is my book, Equilibrium, Spirituality for Everyday People. And one of the last sections in the book is guidance from spirit, and it's a chapter on a whole heap of different messages that I channeled. I'll just read the introduction to you so you have a bit more of an idea of what this is about. I would like to invite you to browse through the following pages. Here you will discover gifts of wisdom, encouragement, strength, and hope delivered through me from Spirit. Take your time. Feel the love beaming from the pages, stretching its arms out wide to embrace you. These incredible messages from Spirit are just for you, to guide you, to help you heal, to encourage you, to give you strength, to shift your perspective, to remind you that you matter always. These words, forming the foundations of these messages and ultimately the foundations of this book, flowed from me during times of channeling Spirit with the intent of sharing their message with the world, with you. Return to these messages as often as you need. They are forever here for you. So this particular chapter in the book is intended kind of like a similar way how you would play with a deck of oracle cards. So you kind of flick through, you feel what page you're feeling drawn to, and then you read the message and feel into the message from that particular page. And so this page I want to read to you today. And look, I even found a bookmark with a little flame on it. A positive affirmation card from a little pack I've got here, and I was flicking through them and thought, oh, there's another flame, I'm going to grab that. So I've really gone to some great lengths to make sure I really bring the energy of fire in for us today. Okay, so here's the message. Reignite your inner fire. No more plodding along doing things you sort of enjoy. Do more of what you are truly passionate about. There is a stunning sunrise on the way for you. It is just around the corner, but you need to stoke your inner fire first. Even if you can just stir the embers inside you, that is still a great step forward. The fire will soon follow. Build your fire in preparation for your sunrise that you are about to witness. Because this sunrise is not something you are going to want to miss. It is going to be magnificent. So that is the spirit message that, or the other spirit message that I was guided to share with you today on stoking your inner fire, reigniting your inner fire. So if you are sort of doing things, that they're not bad. You don't hate them, but you don't really love them either, then it's time to just put those to the side just for a little bit. And we're not implying that you give your whole life a massive overhaul and you drop everything that you're currently doing and throw yourself into doing a whole heap of new things, unless that's what you feel like you need to do. Just pick one thing. So one thing in your life right now that you don't love it, but you don't hate it either. Something that's a little bit lukewarm. Just put that to the side and replace it with something that really stokes your inner fire, something that really makes your heart sing, something that is really going to give you that boost that you need. So that is a beautiful message for you today. I hope you enjoyed this session. Just keep in mind in the next couple of weeks, as the energy of the fire continues to work with you and with your surroundings and your life, you may notice some significant changes. Some changes will be effortless. Some changes will feel a little bit hard. So just remember the messages that we talked about today. So cast your awareness to the future just a little bit, just to help you reset, and it'll help you when you're working in the present moment again. So remember that one particularly. But all of the messages we've talked about today are going to really help you in the coming weeks. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any questions or any feedback, if you have any cool stories that you want to share with me as you've been working with the fire energy, I would love to hear them. I always love hearing people's stories. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful month, and I will see you all next month for Soul Explorations with Jo. Take care. Bye.